Hello and good morning to everyone. This is Stuart Payne on behalf of Read 20 and the Readmobile. And today we're looking at a wonderful book called How Full Is Your Bucket? For kids. Yes, this was written by Tom Rath and Mary Reckmeyer and illustrated by Mari Manning. It's got a great introduction here. It says, each of us has an invisible bucket. When our bucket is full, we feel great. But when it's empty, we feel awful. Yet most children and many adults don't realize the importance of having a full bucket throughout the day. In this story, Felix begins to see how every interaction in a day either fills or empties his bucket. And then he realizes that everything he says or does to other people fills or empties their buckets as well. So follow along with Felix as he learns how easy it can be to fill the buckets of his classmates, teachers, and family members. Before the day is over, you'll see how Felix learns to be a great bucket filler, and in the process, he discovers that filling someone else's bucket also fills his own. Good stuff. How full is your bucket for kids? Felix was putting one of the last blocks on his tower when his little sister came in. "I want to build with you," she said. And Felix scowled. "Go away, you're too little." "I'm big," she says. "Stay back or you'll knock it over," says Felix. "But I can be very careful," she says. Then Felix says, "Well, why don't you go play with your baby toys, Anna?" She's not too happy. So what does she do? Thwack, it says. "Grandpa!" Felix yells. Grandpa came in and shook his head. "Felix, you just dipped from your sister's bucket." Like everyone else, Anna has an invisible bucket. When it's empty, she feels bad. But when it's full, she feels great. "Didn't you ever notice your own bucket?" says Grandpa. "Invisible bucket?" Sometimes Felix couldn't tell when his grandfather was joking. But was he joking? But the next morning when Felix woke up, there it was. A small gray bucket floating above his head. When Felix came down to have breakfast, his mom was in a hurry. "I've got a meeting this morning and it's almost time to go." "Anna, sit still," she says. Felix slipped and choco wheats scattered across the floor. "Felix," yelled his mom, "you should have used the stool to reach that." Felix could feel his bucket tip and big invisible drips spill out. Drip, drip. "Ha ha," laughed Anna as she crunched the cereal with her shoe. Drip. "Get the broom and clean that before you miss the bus," scolded Mom. With the school bus honking, Felix quickly swept up the choco wheats and grabbed the last blueberry muffin. But before he could even take one bite, Buster jumped up and grabbed the muffin right out of his hand. Drip. "Hey, look at Felix's new backpack. My baby brother has one just like that." Drip. "Psst, hey, Felix, psst. Watch out, shrimp." Drip, drip. It was still morning and Felix's bucket felt almost empty. As he watched his classmates walk into the room, he secretly hoped that they would trip and fall. Because that's what it feels like when you have an empty bucket. Felix slumped into his seat and waited for something else bad to happen. Mrs. Bumblenickel walked slowly up to his desk and handed him a paper, and he could hardly bear to look. "Felix, you wrote a wonderful story. Would you please share it with the class?" Felix grinned and felt a big drop land right in his bucket. Drop! Drop, plop, plink, drop. He's having a big time. The Gigantosaurus who wanted a pet by me, Felix. The class grew quiet. They laughed at all the right places and they oohed at the scary parts. When Felix finally read the end, everybody clapped. Even Emily, who sat next to him and usually didn't like dinosaurs. Felix felt a whole shower of drops land inside his bucket. Maybe the day wouldn't be so bad after all. Drop. Drop. Felix is team captain today. He's doing some painting. Hey, nice cow. Well, actually, it's a dog. Well, nice colors there, Felix. Cool laser ant backpack, Felix, says a friend. And his bucket is slowly filling back up. By afternoon, Felix's bucket was nearly full. At recess, when he looked around, Felix suddenly realized that his grandpa was right. Everybody else had a bucket too. Let me help you, he says. Drops, filling buckets. Here's your baseball, catch. Hey, thanks, dude. Drops, filling buckets. Hey, I'm Felix. Is this your first day? Yes, I'm Amir. A bucket full. We're filling up. The strange thing was that for every drop he helped put in someone else's bucket, he felt another drop in his own bucket. When Felix burst in the door after school, he shouted, "You were right, Grandpa. I do have a bucket, and now I understand how it works." And then he saw Anna's torn doll. "Bad dog," he almost scolded. But then he thought, dogs might have invisible buckets too. So Felix says to Anna, "I think your doll is going to be okay. Mom's going to fix her for you. Until then, how'd you like to help me build the tallest building in the world with these blocks?" And so they did. Oh, look. Both of their buckets seem to be fairly full. The end. So yeah, this is a good story to remind us all about how important our attitude is toward other people. When we are nice and friendly and helpful and kind, well, we're helping to fill their buckets and make them feel better. But when we're selfish and greedy and mean or rude to people, well, we're just draining the joy right out of them. So this is a really good use of symbolism, where this bucket of water is a symbol for how you feel at any given moment. And the more problems that you encounter, the more rudeness and bad attitude you encounter from other people, the more that just drains the joy right out of you. It's something worth thinking about. So I appreciate you tuning in today. Don't forget to share and like our videos if you like them and want to share them. And if you have comments or questions or requests, put those in our comments too. Thanks for tuning in and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.